Hey everyone. So this is something I've been working on for a while. I wanted to map the kingdoms in the game and compare them to each other with regards to KVK. For me, as a player, the KVK is the center of the game, and unfortunately, right now there isn't any game structure to show the comparison of different kingdoms. I do know that in the update that was released, I think yesterday in Koa, they actually added some leaderboards for this, which is amazing. But in Guns of Glory, it will take at least a few months until we get there. So I decided about 2 weeks ago to start and trying to map the kingdoms and compare them. The goal is to assess which kingdom is the one you would be most afraid to meet, or which kingdoms are dominant in KVK. Now, I would say from the get-go, this is a hard task to map. I mean, the right way to do it would be to have to look at specific KVKs, look what's going on, have some criteria mapped by a panel of judges, and then to give points. Because it's really hard to from an outside view to know the power or the danger or the dominance of a kingdom. There are so many different factors going in. So you can have bad matchups, good matchups. You can have players that are super strong that were inactive the past 2 weeks because of something. You could have a player who dropped $30,000 yesterday and now suddenly that kingdom became the strongest. Many different factors, but still I wanted to have some baseline for us to work with. So I've done the following. So I was watching over for the past 2 KVKs, watching who conquered who. So Kingdom 1 was conquered by Kingdom 1 to 3 and Kingdom 32. And Kingdom 3 was conquered by Kingdom 62 in this KVK. I then also went to the crown of each and every kingdom. Yeah, it took a while. And I looked at the Hall of Kings. And I looked from May how many times where the kingdom was able to defend itself. And then I've done the ratio. So Kingdom 1 never held the crown since January. Kingdom 2 held 62.5% of the time. And so on, going down. Then I assigned a value for the kingdom. How many points will you get by conquering it? So a kingdom like Kingdom 1 that was forever conquered, I assigned a base value of 5. But a kingdom, for example, like this kingdom, the one with the 87.5, it was conquered, that it was only one time conquered, you should get much more points for it. So you will get a max 13.75 points at this for this kingdom. So the harder the kingdom that you meet, and the hardness is defined by the amount of time it was able to defend itself, the more points you get. So this is the conquering point. So let's say, for example, Kingdom 7 got 6.25 points. So this is Kingdom 7. It conquered Kingdom 4. So Kingdom 7 conquered Kingdom 4. And Kingdom 4 is worth 6.25 points because it was able to hold crown only once in the past 8 KVKs. So it has a fairly low value. So I have the conquering points of the last KVK and the KVK before that. And the total points, I define the following equation, that you have the conquering points and your base value, the defending value, multiplied by 2. So I wanted to give a higher penalty or a higher for not being able to defend your own kingdom, or a higher reward for being able to defend your own kingdom. So I multiplied it by 2. And this gives you total points. Now, I think this gives a very rough view of some ranking of the kingdoms. Because, again, if a kingdom is super strong but never comes out to play, well, it's not a dominant kingdom in KVK. So this is the base formula. I would love for suggestions on what other elements that are in a reasonable amount of time one can deduce, to incorporate into this. I do know that, for example, I'll keep on polling the conquering of each KVK and start giving less and less weight to all the results, because this is a dynamic game. Well, so this is the mechanism, and then these are the rankings of the kingdoms. So Kingdom 117 was the most dominant. The dominant in terms of never being conquered and the amount of kingdoms it conquered. I think it conquered 3 kingdoms last time and 2 kingdoms this time. Not sure. The second would be 82 and then 130. And then this is the list. Now I would point out that I'm sure there is a kingdom that is not in the list that definitely deserves to be in the list for whatever reason. There are kingdoms here that shouldn't be here or should be skewed. But I think this could give a good rough estimate on who you should be careful of and who are the dominant kingdoms in the game. So these are the kingdoms. I chose the color scheme of the game from yellow to green. And I think this gives a fair representation. So I'll post the list in the description. And I think I will... Yeah, I think I'll put the full spreadsheet. Yeah, I'll put the full spreadsheet also. Alright, take care.